Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Probably the same as me. Shocked, bewildered. Like, what the hell? Energy. I thought about this a lot. And ever since we heard that he was going to, he took a plea deal. Oh, my bangs are drying. Oh, and I went to bed listening to videos. I was listening to another reader. And some news reports. News Nation. As much as I don't care for News Nation, on a couple of the cases, I totally disagreed with News Nation. But when I fell asleep, I had a dream. And I was interviewing Bryan in my dream. Okay? Just like your traditional thing, you see they're on one side and they're yellow or orange or green, whatever color their jumpsuits are. He was in orange. And I was on the other side, and there was the glass and there was the telephone, right? And he says, you need to come interview me. You need to interview me. And I says, I can't get there. I can't come to Idaho. He says, well, you're already here. And it made me think, yeah, I could do an interview with Bryan. Not in the physical, but in the spiritual realm. And his energy was like, I want to tell my story, but I can't come out and tell it because there would be too many ramifications for so many people, some deserving, some not. And then I asked him, did you do this? If you did, why did you do this heinous crime? Or why did you, if you're innocent, why did you take the plea? He sat stone cold silent. And he says, they're listening to me. And that's all he said at the end. And then he held up a deck of cards. So I'm going to try to attempt to tap into his energy. But before I do that, some things that I do want to say and get off my chest. I was trying to figure out how I could say this delicately. I'm not mentioning any names. I'm not mentioning any readers or any channels or anything like that. But I've seen some flips. In other words, I've seen people, even readers, flipping their script now. Readers who was so sure Bryan Kohberger was innocent. That and stop. And then going back and they're saying, well, I remember this reading that I did and I think I misinterpreted it. It probably meant this. And they're flipping the script as, okay, we're going to see why he did this, and not really phrasing the questions properly. And I was cringing when I was watching some of these readings. And I'm watching some of the cards fall. Oracle cards, tarot cards, whatever they were using. Daisy, oh, sorry, people's cutting grass and the dogs are losing their mind. But this is the only time I can record this, so you're just going to have to deal with the dogs barking. So don't complain in the comments about my dogs. Okay. Anyhow. Daisy. Yes, Dutton's still here. I'll get that. I'll put a post up about him or something. Anyhow, I'm getting off track. It's like I was saying, I was cringing about, you know, what these readers were saying. Some of them. And there were even some regular true crime sleuths trying to dig into his motive and why isn't he telling them where the knife is, and flipping their script also. Then you have the other channels that were always, he's guilty all the time, and now they're gloating. Told you so type vibe I get. Well, I know Jules over at True Crime Reactions. I'm on her team. I'm on board with her. The the prosecution did not introduce anything new. The same old stuff. And I agree with Jules. It just seems like Santa just read from the PCA. Nothing new. Things that can be proven to be something else, or can be twisted in a way and turn it back onto the prosecution of, but you can also look at this evidence in this way. There was enough in what Santa said yesterday. There was enough to cast a reasonable doubt that he was innocent. Sorry, but not sorry. And I'm probably going to keep comments off on this video, because I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Okay? But there wasn't enough to convict, in my humble opinion. I want to know. I did one video, but I really want to know why. Why? And then you hear all these analysts out there talking about his stone cold, emotionless face. There's a reason for that. You know, could he have done this crime? Perhaps. I'm not convinced. We'll see when the gag order is lifted. We'll see when people file their FOIAs. See what comes out to change my mind. To change my mind and me look at my cards and say, okay, I read this energy all wrong. And maybe even go back and reflect, where did my interpretations go wrong? Okay? That's called learning. But there is so much more to this. Energetically. So much more. So with that said, I didn't mean it to be a long intro, but I wanted to explain my stance. I'm not changing it unless my cards tell me, and I'm not looking for that. I'm approaching them very neutral. But if my cards tell me, and I get the feeling, yeah, Jen, you were wrong. You interpret this whole case completely wrong. You weren't listening to us. You were listening to what you wanted to hear. I'll admit it. But, or, you know, there's something that comes out evidence-wise in the upcoming weeks, maybe even months, that points to his undeniable guilt. Okay? Okay, now, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and switch camera views. you know, sometimes we don't have all the answers. And even us readers can get things wrong. And that's why, I have the word this twice. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, not based on fact, just my opinion, my interpretation of the cards. Throw your own cards, form your own opinions, do your own research. I'm just a blonde throwing cards. Okay? I'm going to have to change that. That's going to bother me. This. Oh, well. Deal with it. I am going to start with the archetypal oracle. Since I started, I tried these a long time ago. This is by, what's her name? It's Wild Unknown. Okay. Hold that thought for a minute. Because now that I said that, I had a deck. You can see it over there on the right for the tarot pools. And nope. Hold that thought for a minute. Okay. I was called to pull out the Wild Unknown Tarot. And when I flipped the deck over, just to check it out, did I have reversals mixed in? Did I not? Because I was told, you know, I'm one of them readers, and I explain all this in my upcoming book that should be published this fall, called The Tarot Blueprint, From General Readings to True Crime. When I talk about the reversals, some read them, some don't, some do it on and off, and I'm one of them does it on and off, and I go by my spirit guides. And my spirit guide said no reversals. So I was looking through. I went to go look through this to see if any of the cards were in reverse. Oh, there's the Tower. Pfft. Surprise, surprise. But when I flipped this deck over, we had the Four of Cups, the four victims. BLO, or I should just say bodily fluid. Bodily fluid spilled. But not just that, the rat. There's a rat in this whole thing. Okay. So let's get into this. I'm not using any true crime decks per se. The box. I get a couple messages from this. Trying to move my camera a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit better. You might see a little bit of my mess in the background. But I get thinking outside the box. Needing to think outside the box. Don't box yourself in. And that is a personal message for me as well. I've got to think of the bigger picture. We all have to think of the bigger picture. That it's not cut and dry, he's guilty. Far from it. It's not that cut and dry. And I'm looking at all the white lines representing the cage. And then there's the light right in the center of the cage. It's a spirit. It's a soul. Caught up in this cage. Caught up in this box. That's Bryan Kohberger. And I'm trying to channel his higher self. Okay? His higher self will be more truthful than him in the flesh. It's like I'm caught in my mind. Oh, this is physically he's in a cage, but mentally, spiritually, he says, I am trapped and caught up in my mind. All the web of thoughts. hiding my soul away for not to bear it to the world. He doesn't want to bear his soul to the world. But I do have a light within me, the light of truth. I know what the truth is. But I've got myself boxed in. We're going to think a little bit outside the box on this. It's like I said. I heard that very loud and clear. Think outside the box. The mountain. I had so many obstacles against me, and they were stacking up. I felt like I could not move forward. I felt they had me. I had no other choice. This was going to be a very long road, a very high mountain to climb. I was partway there, trying to stand in the light of truth. But I didn't quite make it to that peak. It hasn't peaked yet. I do have a strategy. The heart. Fear. I do hold love within me. But it's caged. It's trapped. Because I'm so caught up in my mind. My mind is presenting an obstacle. I am cracked. I came from the stars, so shall I return. Oh, that's... okay. That egg has not cracked open yet. About what really went on in that house that night. We only get to see, you only get to see just a small opening. But it's still dark, and you can't see what's inside that shell of protection. But the protection is cracked. It is faulted. The house held the key to this mystery, to what happened. The pilgrim and the venom. The venom is deadly. Traveled. I am not from this area. I did not know these people. But I got caught up into something extremely dark. I was poisoned. My mind was poisoned. And I sucked on that nectar. The nectar of death, the nectar of poison. So, Bryan, did you unalive anybody? I want to know if you unalived anybody. It is safe. You could bear your soul here. Did you unalive anybody? I am not going to stay in this energy very long, guys, because there is a dark energy around him. Ace of Cups. Pulling 3. Daughter of Cups. That's the page. Temperance. Patience, the balance, the healing. I was not myself that night. This is indicating to me that he was given something. Also, the sun, exposure. Eight of Wands. Five of Pentacles. Out in the cold. He's not answering directly. There's this idea that I'm in the spotlight right now. And things took a change. And pushing the victims out of focus. The star. I'm the star of the show right now. Ten of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles. He was being directed by an organization and given a task, an offer. Seven of Wands. His defense. Seven of Swords. He lied to his defense team. Three of Swords. I can't deny what the cards are telling me now. You know, he was saying, you got to think outside the box. You can't box yourself into your, and limit yourself by your own cognitive thinking that, and your own belief in me is what he was saying. You got to think outside the box. I had to step outside that box. There's a lot of deception, a lot of lies that were going on around the victims. And that was going to be part of his defense. However, very reluctant to admit to anything because of judgment, because of a witch hunt. The torches will be coming after him. So I have to stay silent. But I was involved. Nine of Cups. I did the deeds of somebody's commands. Under a smoke screen. Guys, as the sun set and the moon rose. The moon rose. The moon rose. There's a lot of illusions about what happened. I was following commands and doing the deeds of somebody else's wishes, who still remain protected. Now I have this burden to carry. Moving forward. I do have empathy. I do have, I do have emotions. I will receive my judgment for my part. There's going to be another awakening in this case. This shall be found. But I also speak my truth now. About the coercion, the corruption. It is a selfish move. Self-preservation. To change my plea. But you don't know it all. Justice. About the justice system and people in power who have teamed up, Two of Cups, in partnerships. And I shall not rest. Oh, I have to worry Nine of Swords, I have to worry about these other people in places of power in the justice system who are partnered up. But that still remains hidden, unseen, blocked. But we came to an agreement that I would take the fall for everything. Because strength, we're dealing with extremely strong, powerful people. Eight of Cups. Oh, the Eight of Cups. Dealing with strong, powerful people, that is in my best interest to leave it, walk away. And become the victim of their own webs. Getting caught up in something very dark. I got caught in these people's web, in their web. I did not work alone. The truth will be told. Then shall we be able to get up and finally start anew. But not until the truth is told about this web. I feel defeated right now, but the fight's not done. For the Empress, for those beautiful souls, the Empress's voice, they're not happy with this outcome. And remember, this was under the deck, shadow energy. So there's a rat in this whole thing. Can I? There's an Empress. Not just the victims, but there's an Empress. Somebody in a place of power. And the rat's looking right at them. There's a feminine energy. Now, he's not talking right now. I'm just getting other information channeled from my guides. Somebody's going to get ratted out. Could be by an Empress, or it could be an Empress getting ratted out. It's been hiding in secret. A group of friends, a group of people. An Empress might be ratting out a group of friends, a group of people who have been secretly hiding behind the scenes, who's behind this whole senseless hiding. I shit you not. Look at the turtle, hiding within a shell. Somebody's going to get caught out. Somebody else is going to be implemented. And he's saying, again, I did not work alone. He has not answered the question directly if he did any of the unalivings. But he's admitting he had involvement. He regrets his involvement. He's... Okay. Regret, guilt, shamed about the 4 victims. The fight. You know, I've been saying all along that Bryan has not been completely 100% innocent. He had some kind of involvement, a cleaner or something. But I didn't think he unalived anybody. I will admit I was wrong. According to this energy, I'm being corrected. I did, but not all. He did not work alone. And this fight, this battle, clean up man. I had to clean up the mess and take care of that which was not Ethan. He didn't touch the girls. Bryan did not touch the girls. He had a battle. Ethan and Xana were not supposed to be part of the scenario. You know, we've heard over and over about possible collateral damage. Daisy. I know, it's a lawnmower. It's a lawnmower. Come here. I'm seeing this as when he goes to clean up after the event. One last loose end had to be dealt with. It's almost like there was a confrontation. There was a confrontation. Confrontation with between Xana, with Xana and Ethan. It's like Ethan was a surprise. Remember that tower card? Encountered, that surprise factor. And I said surprise, surprise. The surprise factor was Ethan wasn't supposed to be there. Or they did think Ethan was there. Just the 3 girls. And Xana would be in her room. Possibly sleeping. And the other perps involved who remained silent and secret were there after Maddie and Kaylee. Maddie and Kaylee. Under the deck. I shit you not. The Hierophant. Daisy. And it's reminding me of religious organizations. Churches. There is something more to the fraternities and sororities than there's a ritualistic, spiritual or religious or some kind of belief system within them. And I feel, allegedly speaking, entertainment purposes only. There's some kind of ritualistic or religious, dark religious energy. There was like a good and a church, good Christian energy cloaked in darkness. It's like a church that wasn't really a church. A church that was proclaimed Christianity but wasn't Christian. And I'll leave that at that. Queen of Cups, Kaylee. But it's now done. Or that might be Maddie and Kate, Mother of Pentacles. That's Kaylee. This is Maddie. Two of the females. Victory. We've got our target. Those two were the targets. And there's that transformation and that change with that butterfly. 6 of Wands, success. The Emperor. Four of Wands, the House. I almost thought I saw an eye. But it's not an eye, but it almost reminded me of an eye. In my mind's eye, I saw an eye on this card. 4 of Wands inside the House, an eye. The Emperor was deeply rooted within the eye, within that house, that knew everything that went on. Ethan, Father of Cups. Daughter of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles. Ethan, Father of Swords, law enforcement. We're definitely not being told all the truth. I'm hearing. And actually, I've been channeling Bryan's energy. Allegedly speaking, Ethan tried to contact law enforcement. Somebody he knew in law enforcement. Because Ethan was not sure what was going on. Him and Xana were not sure what was going on. And they contacted somebody they knew in law enforcement. Did not call 911. I wonder if Ethan's phone records were ever... Never heard anything about Ethan's phone records. Remember that. Because there's something in Ethan's phone records that would scream conspiracy, that would scream corruption. We won't hear about Ethan's phone records. But he called somebody in his contacts that he knew in law enforcement. Hey buddy, there's something wrong here. There's some screaming going on. We don't want to leave our room. We need somebody to come over and check it out. And after they hung up, Hangman. The Two of Pentacles. The unthinkable happened. I'm telling you, when Ethan tried to make that phone call, or he made that phone call, it alerted, hey, there's 2 other people in that house. And we heard about the carving of his legs. The field felt really personal with Ethan. Whoever he called that he thought he could trust. Ten of Cups. Who was part of the big, happy family. Called in the troops. That friend was a snake. And now, Bryan sits behind bars. And there he should be. There's that one sword right above that he's hanging from, that the moth or the butterfly's hanging from. The one. Death. The one was a confrontation. The one Son of Pentacles. The one that he was involved with and responsible for. But the message came straight from Ten of Pentacles. The organization. Son of Swords. Somebody came and did the carving. But it was after Ethan was already gone. Somebody wanted to make a statement. I'm only feeling one person was Bryan Kohberger responsible for. Yes, he needs to be punished. He needs to do his time for that one person. But he is behind bars now. But there's still others out there. Free as a bird. Somebody is going to rat someone else out. That is my predictions. That is my tap into Bryan. And I thank you, Bryan, for talking to us today. Your higher self. Help us better understand what went on. You weren't the only one. I'm dropping the mic.